My name is Edoardo DeMartin. I'm a studio general manager for Next Level Games. Initially, when the company started, we wanted to create an environment that was that didn't burn people out, but could be efficient and effective and produce the same games anyone else could do, but not under this stressful crunch time or the stress period. So essentially, we don't schedule people 7 days a week, right? However, what I identified in my experience in video games is that often we forget doing some of the simple things and the little things, and my presentation today was really about making some assumptions on how you do your business, and in those assumptions are ways of working and actions as a leader that you can perform every single day that actually result in clarifying areas that that people just avoid dealing with. So, for example, engaging in constructive conflict is one of the values that we embody in our business. It's very hard to do this every single day. No one wants to engage in conflict. It's against human nature. But in order to grow, in order to become better at what you do, you have to. That's just life. And so what we work really hard is with the staff and the leadership, myself included, to push to have those discussions that are difficult to have, because that's where the efficiency is. Those are where all the hours go at the door, is because when you're talking about it, you're not working on the wrong thing for 2 months, or you're not working on issues and things that weren't identified through discussion, that all you had to do is get up your desk and talk to someone, or challenge somebody on a direction you're going because you think it's the wrong way. So that's, in a nutshell, I mean, it seems very simplistic, but that's how we achieve to work less hours. We didn't create a policy to say you only work these hours. We expect people to come in at core hours so that you can be there to communicate with the team. However, there are some people that, maybe they work to 9. They don't do it all the time, but every once in a while, because they have a creative spurt, that's okay. That's not a problem, right? And when you're developing software, especially when you're hitting a deadline right at the final, sometimes you just have to be in there to fix that bug before it goes out. And we recognize that, and we do that. So that's kind of how we run our studio. It's more organic, and we play it by ear, right? We haven't really had to recruit more people. I mean, in some specific situations where you go, we're going to need an extra body for that. But it's sort of a lie in our business that I think we feel better because everyone works 7 days a week, because stuff's getting done, and then I've done the most I can do. The panic goes away, right? It's more of a business panic, but for me, it's not cost effective in the long run, because in the long run, what happens is your people are not there to solve the really difficult problems. And in video games, there are tons of difficult problems that refreshed people, creative people need to solve. And I don't know, you can show me, I don't know, I mean, you can Google research on creative people and burnout. Those two things work together. If you want creative staff, they need to be rested. That's it. I mean, it's not that complicated, right? But so really what I'm talking about, I think it's more cost effective in the long run, because I want my best guys working on the best problems, not burnt out and fried, fixing the problem we fixed last time because we didn't have enough time to plan for it, because we didn't bother to communicate, because we just scheduled everyone 7 days a week and worked like crazy, right? Over time, what happens is that the hierarchy becomes a lot more flatter, because people begin to work in an environment of trust, because they're able to talk and discuss things openly, and because you get good at dealing with conflict. And when you get good at dealing with conflict, then for example, my managers challenge me constantly on things, and that's their job, right? They have to come to me and push me to do more, to get them more things, so to move our business forward, and I have to deal with the problems of how do I finance that, or how do I get that organized, right? But that's the reality of our industry, and if we want to be the best at what we do, we have to push. So I think absolutely it really, I think, brings people out by role as opposed to hierarchy, right? I think as long as your leadership is functioning at the highest quality possible, you can have a bigger team. But if you don't have high quality leadership, it's better to have a small team.
Okay. It's really at the basis.
Yeah, that's at the basis, right?
Okay.
So, and that for me, I think that your problems are different when you get larger, but high quality leadership work with the teams to solve those problems, right? There are different types of problems, and the work becomes a little bit different because, you know, when you're larger, there's more people to talk to, so you might spend more time, you know, organizing things more, or you have so many more dependencies, so then you have to have a lot more communication. But those are just problems to solve, and then with, you know, committed leadership that's good, they're going to solve those problems for you, right? But if you're a big team and you have crappy leadership, you have a problem. Yeah. It's better to be 30 people. Actually, for the first, I would say, 5 years, we hardly lost anybody. And to answer that question, I'd say yes. In the last few years, what we've realized is that over time, people also, and I think this is actually a beautiful thing about our studio, that I think over time, as people learn that, hey, you can have fun at work, you can contribute, you can say, you can be effective and empowered for your position, and we created this culture. I think over time what happened is that people can become more confident, and then people start to leave your studio because they want to work on a game that they're really passionate about.
Okay.
Because, and I think that's the right way to lose people, you know, and because if we're not making a hockey game and someone wants to make a hockey game, you know, yeah. I shake their hand and they go on their way, right? And hopefully, if they're, you know, they'll come back to us and we have that content. And that's how it really should work for artists, you know, is, you know, you have an art form, and sometimes you can express it more effectively in the medium that you, in the game content that you like. And so if we had an industry where we were able to move from company to company, you know, based on this would be beautiful. Like, I think a lot of people would actually enjoy that, and it makes sense. Right? We haven't had a lot of problems hiring people. The problems we're having in recruiting, I think, are the same everyone else has. There are certain specific roles right now in video games that it's so hard to find, and I think we suffer from those problems as anybody else. But because of the way our studio is, we don't suffer from, hey, you know what, your studio is, you know, it treats people lousy, so everyone knows, so you get treated well. The question is the game I want to work on, right? And that's normal. I mean, that's the games we have, right? So you come work if you like, right? So that kind of thing. Okay. But in terms of recruiting, we do suffer from the same problems everyone else in the industry right now. Certain roles are very difficult to get right now. Yeah.
Absolutely.